doing a quick audio test. Okay, cool. Haven't done this in a little bit. So again, everything's set back up again. Cool, glad you guys can hear me. We're gonna be fiddling with some things, getting set up as per usual. I'm a little late. Alright, yes. Okay, so how is everyone? Hey, it's Mega, aka the Art Messiah. Back with another art stream after quite a bit of a break. And I'm back to do some more art. Today specifically, we're going to be preparing a little bit for Matsuricon, which is an anime and comics convention. I guess it's a little bit more anime leaning than like Western comics, but it's an anime convention, and so I wanted to prepare some artwork for it. I wanted to basically improve on the things that I didn't get a chance to do because I ran out of time the first time I tabled. So we're going to be working on some art today specifically, and just chatting, just chilling. I specifically like to make my streams more of an art jam than anything else, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be hanging out, and if you guys have anything to work on, feel free to work on that while you're joined in on the stream. I know everyone lives busy lives, so I just do these to pretty much hold myself accountable and to get stuff done, and also to hopefully just connect with other artists in the art community as a whole, and hopefully provide stuff that's actually like helpful. I know that when I was learning art, one of the biggest things that helped me was learning other processes that artists took to create the art that they were creating. And it wasn't to like bite anybody or I guess I should just say copy. It wasn't to copy anyone, but simply to learn the different approaches and to absorb some of that and to try to bring that into my own work. So hopefully at the very least I can provide that for people watching, and at the very least you can come through just for the vibes and the chill music. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and kind of get things set up in terms of art, and I'll explain what are some of my goals to get done today. Let's see here. So first and foremost, there is basically some artwork that I want to rework from last time, where the artwork was really rough and it was drawn very small, and then when I printed it at a large size, it was a bit blurry. So today we're going in and cleaning up artwork, and we're going to do this for like maybe 2 to 3 pieces. And so my aim is that, or my goal is that I can create some art pieces that will look better when I print them large again. And then on top of that, we want to rework some of the artwork that I wasn't able to do at the first convention, because the first convention that I was at said that there could be no fan art. So we want to rework some pieces that include fan art, so I can have a few of those pieces at my table as well. So that's what we're going to be working on. As a heads up, it's going to be a lot of painting, line work, all that kind of stuff, so you guys will be able to see a lot of the process. Maybe not so much on the sketching side, but rendering side we'll probably get into quite a bit today. Music might be just a little too loud, but like a little bit. All right, let's turn that. No, let's turn that down a little bit. Let me turn that down a little bit, and let me check in on the live stream myself so I can hear how it sounds. Give me a minute. Okay, so hopefully that's a bit better. Let me know if it's still a little bit too loud. There we go. Perfect. Cool. Cool, cool. Alright, so let me go ahead and pull this piece up, and I'll kind of give an example of what I did. And this is kind of like base level cleaning up. Yeah, I still want my style to be very loose, very dynamic. And so we're going to try to keep those lines very loose and stuff like that. But we're going to at least try to get to this level of polish where the lines are just like less blurry. And that's what we're going to shoot for this other piece as well. And we'll see how that kind of goes out. And I'll probably take a lot of breaks in this stream because I need to kind of critically think about what items need to be done first. I really need to do things that are going to be turned into stickers and what am I trying to do? Stickers and keychains first and foremost, because I need to get those produced and manufactured, and I can't print those out myself personally. So I'm going to try to make sure that I try to finish that up today so that I can get that in the works, and so it has a few weeks for production. And speaking of which, I'll probably ask this another time during the stream as well, if other people kind of show up as well. But if you guys have recommendations for where to get keychains made, let me know. I'm trying to get the ones that are like double-sided, where it's like mirrored, where you have an image on one side and you have the image on the other side, so no matter what side of the keychain you see, you still see the picture. I haven't really done my research yet, but send me recommendations if you have them. Previously I used Sticker Mule, and they just only had it on one side, so I just need to look more into that probably. Also, probably sometime during the stream, I will talk a little bit about DreamCon, which I had the ability, the pleasure to go to. I'll probably mention that, but I'm going to save that for later because I just want to kind of get into the groove of things. I'm probably going to, be silent for a little bit as I just, figure out exactly what I'm getting done today. But yeah. We'll have some chill discussions, chill chat, just getting things prepared still. You mean you see the same picture on both sides or different pictures on each side? So actually in this case, it should be the same picture on both sides, just mirrored, but I am looking for the capability or the ability to do different pictures on either side as well. But yeah, looking to do some stuff with keychains. Need to do some research into it. Alright, so we're going to start off with going back to the line work. I'm not happy with how the line work looks right now. So I'm going to try making it a little bit more bold, because I think that's what the current issue is. So we're going to duplicate this. But yeah, how's everyone doing today? How's everyone doing, and what are you guys working on? I'm chilling. Day was long. Had to do things I didn't want to all day, and I just want to chill. I feel it. Doing things you don't want to do all day. But that's me at my job every day. And then low-key wanting to just get off and relax and not doing anything. But you gotta push through and get this art done as quickly as possible, because I am always unprepared, always behind schedule, and always have bad time management. So this time I'm getting things done early. I'm not going to be stressed out when the time comes. I'm going to be prepared. So we're going to put the work in now and try not to be a perfectionist. Try not to spend too much time with the art. Although at the same time, sometimes I feel like I'm being too loose and that stuff doesn't look good enough, and I don't know, it's a constant battle of you know, making things look good and trying to do your best work, but also trying to maintain that sense of speed. And also, I don't know how about you guys, but whenever I try to go like take my time and try to make something look really good, it almost, like, I want to say like 90% of the time, maybe even more than 90%, it comes out looking worse than if I were to kind of speed through it. and kind of just always be focusing on that big picture. Like whenever I start to take my time and start to really take care of each line, I feel like the lines look worse. They're cleaner, they're technically cleaner, but like overall I feel like they're placed worse. The sense of fluidity like disappears. Even when I'm intentionally trying to consider the fluidity when I'm taking my time, it just, I don't know, guys. I don't know what it is about it, but just how it is. Oh, go ahead, shoot your whatever question you got, Kage. I am here to answer questions and draw and chat. Have a good time. Brandon was streaming a little bit earlier, so I gotta catch the tail end of that, which was cool, even though I was still at work. Now I'm finally off, and I can. If someone was streaming right now, I'd check out their stream too. I probably will after I stream, honestly. Just depends about like how long I'm, planning to work. But I don't know, we'll see. A lot of people were streaming today apparently though, like at least in the Discord server. Okay, so let's see. I don't know. I think that's starting to look a little bit better. We're gonna keep working through this. All right, something like that looks good. Alright, and Kage was asking, would you rather keep your job and keep working on art in your spare time, or have art full time and not always love it like you used to? That's a really good question, and I feel like a question that a lot of artists have to make. Even if you're like art as a hobby or like art as a freelance, or even someone that's like trying to go like the comic route, and you're spending like hours and hours, in all of those different cases, I feel like an artist is going to have to consider that, or probably does consider that. And I think I have an answer. I think I have an answer for this that I would be probably the most comfortable with and the most passionate about. And for me personally, I think that I would actually like to do art full time, but the caveat here is that I don't think I would want to do art full time for like the rest of my life, or for like a solid like 20 years or something like that. So one of the issues of making art full time is that there's a couple for me personally, so I'm not going to hopefully I'm not stepping on anyone's toes or anything like that. This is just how I perceive it, and these may be non-issues for other people, but one of the issues that may happen for me personally is that doing art full time means that you may not necessarily be able to pursue skills in another field to a certain degree of proficiency. You know what I mean? Like, art as a full-time thing can be actually really consuming. It can be really time consuming, and can be really also like mentally, emotionally, and creatively draining. And when I say draining, I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way. It just means that like you're putting out so much work, you're putting out so much effort to create something from scratch, right? So that it takes a lot of critical thinking, a lot of creative thinking, and most artists typically want to express themselves, so they're also doing a lot of like emotional kind of searching and thinking as well as they're creating a piece. Unless you're creating stuff just kind of like on almost like an assembly line fashion, then maybe not so much. But in general, that's how I kind of see art. I see art as being draining, but in a good way. So it's kind of one of those things, when you're done with your creative session, you feel like tired and drained, but you also feel super fulfilled and kind of happy that you spent that time to create something, because then you get to sit back and you get to see and appreciate what you've created. And I think that's like honestly one of the coolest things to experience in life, to be able to create something and then sit back and really appreciate and know that that thing you just created did not exist before you picked up your pencil and your pen and you sat down and created it. So yeah, I do think it's not a bad thing that it's draining, takes that much out of you, because honestly, when you're in it and you're doing it, it also feels great, because you can feel pretty much all parts of your being kind of like light up, because you're activating so many different things at once, and that's one of another really cool thing that I enjoy about art, and it being like an all-consuming full-time kind of thing, is that you feel really engaged in a way where a lot of activities may not kind of give you that same sense. So I really like that. Another thing to kind of point out, I'm being kind of long-winded here, but another thing to point out about making art a full-time thing is that you mentioned that you may kind of lose your passion for it. And I do think that's kind of true, because if it's full-time, it's one of those things where you don't have an option to not do it. It's your full-time job, so you are literally forced to do it, whether you feel creative or you don't feel creative. And that's why a lot of the times, people lose that passion and may end up kind of hating art, because they're forcing themselves to create art when they don't have anything that they want to express, or they just simply don't feel like expressing it, within that medium or that style that they've kind of, developed and created, and now have to continue to maintain in order to support themselves. So for me personally, those are like the two things that are like drawbacks for making art full time. And to kind of counteract that, that's why I kind of am thinking of this solution of, I do want it to be full time, but maybe at just like, different intervals. So like, maybe 2-year, 3-year intervals, where I really get to sit down and work on the art that I want to work on, because I'm passionate about it, and there's something that I want to tell with it and express with it. And it's like one of those things where it's like I will not be able to sleep at night if I don't create it, because I'm just that excited about it. And I'm kind of at the point right now with creating the story that I've been working on for the past couple years. I'm so excited to just illustrate it and stuff, but knowing that I need such a huge time commitment, I keep on like just doing little bits and pieces of it, doing it like one step at a time, which is okay, but like for me personally, I like to see things come together a little bit quicker. Like I start to get frustrated, if I'm kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm not really seeing the progress that I want to see. I don't know if you guys feel the same way about that, where it's like you feel like you're moving too slow, and then you just get frustrated, and then you just kind of stop that thing because you're just like tired of moving so slow on it, and you move on to something else. That could be something that I personally have to work and get better at. Keep the motivation high. But I don't know, personally, like I've worked on the story for a couple years and I haven't dropped it or anything like that, so I don't feel like I'm really impulsive, but I do get that sense of like, okay, this is taking too long, let me just like I really want to do this and get this done and see the story. So that's why I really like want to go full time. So currently I work as an engineer. For those of you that have been on the channel for a while, it's not a surprise. For the people that I've interacted with, that's not a surprise. And that is also, it takes a lot of mental energy, a little bit of creativity as well, but it's mainly like the patience thing and sitting down for long periods of time. And it's like, after I'm done doing that, sometimes I don't want to draw because like I've just been sitting down. I want to do something active. I want to do the opposite. You know what I mean? And sitting down more and kind of being a thinker still by, doing art. Sometimes a bit much. Sometimes the art is relaxing and I really enjoy doing it. But the engineering side of it is also kind of important because I'm trying to do a lot of things. I'm trying to do a lot of things with this story, and they are going to be pulling in lots of ideas from engineering. And there's also a lot of things that I'm trying to do outside of just art and comic making though. And so that's why like I don't think that I could make art full time for an extended period of time, because I know that I want to dive into like other skills and get more proficient with them so that I can utilize them within creating stories and creating art, but also outside of creating art and just like creating just new ways in which we kind of engage in society and like the activities that we do. Like I have a lot of ideas that I want to execute on, but I know I need first the basis and the skill level to do so. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that question. Sorry if that was a little bit long-winded, but yeah, the idea would to make it full time for like a couple years, stop, move on to like the next thing that I need to pick up and learn, and kind of keep moving that way. And that way I get to keep the passion for art alive and still really love it and not get that burnout, but then also be able to have those periods of time where I'm actually going like all in on art. I hope that kind of makes sense. That was a bit all over the place, but I felt like I kind of had to give a little bit more background and like some of the issues I've thought about, and I feel like that's important to understand what my current approach is. And honestly, I could talk a lot more about it because there's a lot more to it, but just trying to lay down like some of the reasoning and logic, because it actually might be helpful for other people that are like kind of split career or something like that, and they actually may be deciding between like two different things because they like two things equally as much, or whatever the case may be. They're trying to find like this hybrid type of balance. Because I'm gonna be honest, like there's some career, fields or choices or whatever that, there's just not schooling for, there's not a job for, and you literally just kind of have to create it yourself. You have to create the opportunity yourself because it just does not exist at the current point in time. Okay, so I'm realizing that this person only has 3 fingers here, so I'm going to need to correct that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's got 4. Okay. So we're gonna correct this real quick. Have an idea. I think we're just gonna shrink these fingers down and then add in 1 more at the end. But yeah, thank you for asking that question, because it lets me kind of think about it a little bit more as well. And I'll kind of turn it back around on you. It's not really turning it back around on you, because I kind of know that you are kind of pursuing art full-time right now, but how is that going currently, and is it harder to maintain that passion when it is full-time? Because one of the things that I also think about is that sometimes, like, as humans, we want what we can't have sometimes, and it's like, since I can't do comics full-time, like, oh, that sounds amazing to be able to work on it full-time, but then when you have it, you're like, okay, well, I'm bored, like, maybe I want to do something different, you know what I mean? So you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I'm just curious, just generally curious about what your current thoughts are. And I'm struggling drawing hands, guys. I'm struggling drawing hands. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on today. Why I'm struggling with hands. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, a little tip for you guys. Sometimes I personally like working zoomed out a bit. When I get too close, I start losing track of what's important in the piece, and it generally starts looking a lot wonkier, a lot quicker. So try to zoom out every once in a while, get an idea of how your piece is looking. On one hand, I feel like it's good to have a job that makes me want to go work on my craft. When I was stuck at those dead-end jobs, I could always get this feeling of wanting to go to work. And by that, I mean wanting to go to work, meaning like wanting to go to work on your artwork. Correct. But now that I'm doing it every day, just about, I have other things to do still. Chores, spending time with family, walking my uncle's dog. I purposely do things so I'm not always sitting at my desk. I think that's really important. Even if it's full time, to like still have stuff that breaks up your day, and to actually not draw all the time. And I feel like if and when I do this like full time, I think part of keeping that creativity alive is not putting too much pressure to create, and like changing your environment and having a creative environment, and like making sure that there's not too much pressure to draw, if that makes sense. Like actually starting to focus more on fun, or focus more on nature, or like those side things that you always wanted to get to, because those are the things that are probably going to end up like inspiring the artwork. So it sounds like you do that naturally. But I still feel like I'm not quite there yet. The real work is still to be done, so I'm not sure where I land exactly with that question. And I feel like, I don't know, that's, you're never going to have, well, I shouldn't say never. That may be something that you experiment with, throughout your entire artistic journey. You know what I mean? Like, you may never have like that. This is the exact formula for creating like artwork, and the schedule that I need. Like that can vary from day, it can vary from week to week, month to month, year to year. I feel like that's like so flexible, and the thing is, like creativity is flexible. But when you make it full time, you put this kind of, I shouldn't say you, I'm gonna say me. I would put this kind of pressure on myself that I need to be creating because I took off work to create, you know what I mean? And it would create probably like this weird mindset that would end up being pretty like negative and like hard on myself. I feel like I'd be really hard on myself when I make this transition. I do plan on making that transition at some point in time, to work on full time for a bit. But that's something that's going to be really difficult, because I've pushed myself to get through so many things, schooling, work, this and that, where like taking a breather and like actually giving myself this space and focus to, create without feeling bad or having to feel like I need to be super productive. I don't know if you feel that way at all. If you feel bad if you're like not productive enough in a certain day, or like, well, I didn't create enough art today. I know 100% that's something that I'm gonna struggle with. I'm gonna be like, look at me, I'm slacking off. Like, this was a normal work day. If I was still working a 9 to 5, I would be doing this and that, and always just like comparing. I am not one of those people that goes easy on themselves, which is unfortunate, for sure. Alright, let's turn those colors back on and see what we're looking like now. Okay, with the face, we're not going to look exactly like this rendition, but we do want to add some elements of that into here. It feels a little bit too coloring book-ish with the line work. I have gone through and colored the lines, so that actually kind of helps a little bit. Let's go ahead and add in some more blacks though, for real. I think we could make use of some more blacks here. keep this over here rough. I don't know how much I'll clean it up over here. I want the character to be the cleanest. Okay, anyways, we're gonna go in and we're gonna work on this face. We're gonna do some painting now. Okay, Kage says, yes, I get the same mindset I get when I try to make, wait a sec, there we work. Okay, yeah, I'm reading the right one. So Kage says, yes, I get the same mindset I get when I try to make illustrations for money, or illustrations that, in quotes, need to sell. But in general, I have been practicing being kinder to myself. Productivity doesn't always look the same every day. As long as my bills are paid, I can afford to rest a day or so. LOL. That is very true. The only thing that matters is that the bills are paid. And, I mean, it's also, especially when you haven't made it, like myself, I have not made it. It's good to kind of be on like the frugal end of things, you know what I mean? Like, we're not out here living lavish. You know, I'm not gonna speak for you or anything like that, but I don't live lavish, and so my thought is, as long as the bills are paid, I don't need anything crazy. I don't need to, you know, be jetting around the world, although traveling does sound nice. You know, there isn't anything kind of like, you know, like I need a lot of money or anything like that. Like, it would just be nice to chill out and be able to draw if I have enough money saved for a little bit, and just make that happen. And, you know, try to make money on the side, but not to make that the focus. And I didn't even mention that while I was saying about making art full time. When people say they're making art full time, that means they're making money off it, which means they have to be marketing it, which means they have to be selling it. And it's like, those two things alone can really mess up. It can really like F up your creativity, and it can really mess up your mindset when you have goals like that, because then you're not creating to create. You're not creating entirely for yourself anymore. You're not necessarily being as authentic as you can. And when I think of art, I think of like the most pure authenticity, and it's okay to use art in a way that's not like pure authenticity as well. Like, I'm not, again, I don't want to step on any toes, but for me personally, and I know a lot of artists struggle with this, is that when they start to think about making art for other people because they want to sell it to other people, then they lose a lot of joy because they're not doing exactly what it is that they want to do, because they don't think that that will sell, which in some cases that's not actually entirely true. And in some cases it is true. Sometimes what you like drawing isn't necessarily marketable. And so, like, finding that balance of, you know, making the art full time, but not making all the art that you make used and necessary to sell, it's difficult, you know what I mean? And it's like, part of me would rather just like have a day job where I know I'm specifically getting paid for this, and I'm using these skills and marketing these skills just for this, so that way my creativity and my art gets to be as free as possible and have as much freedom as possible. And so, yeah, when you're talking about that mindset, I resonate a lot when you start thinking about making something for money. Right now, I think I'm in like a really good sweet spot because I'm working full time. I really don't care too much if I make any money off of my artwork, which means that I get to create exactly what I want to create, and my mindset feels like pretty good, and like I don't feel like I'm creating anything that I don't want to do. Like, all this artwork that I'm working on is original characters. Like, I wanted to create promotional pieces because that gets me inspired to keep working on the story, because I know how cool it could look, I know how cool it could be, and doing promotional pieces is like not only giving teasers for other people, but it's giving teasers for myself. And so I hang it up in my room so that way I can like see, this is where I'm headed, you know what I mean? So I feel like I've gone around that. But for sure, if I did conventions all the time and I was creating pieces specifically to sell at conventions, and I'm trying to think about the marketing and this and that, it detracts. Now, there is some pros as well. You can learn from marketing and the creativity of marketing as well, but you got to be you got to be careful, I guess, is all I'm saying and proposing. But yeah, most certainly, I think about these things a lot. Creating art and creating money off of it, and I have a Patreon and everything like that, and that's okay. I do think of the marketing for that. I do think, like, is anyone gonna come here and potentially support, and how can I gain more support, and how could I make income off of art? That is something that I think about, and something that I actively struggle with, per se. I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to put it, but it isn't something that I have like fully figured out. I feel like I have like a little bit of a sweet spot, like I was saying. But I don't feel like I have everything figured out yet. What is going on? What is happening here? So this is, let's click on this. Accidentally put it on the same layer. Okay. Well, we're gonna do that. How about that? And yeah, I think about it often. I like talking about it because I feel like there's stuff that I can learn. There's stuff that I can maybe, share with other people as well. Tips, tricks, and things of that nature. And ways to think about marketing, ways to do marketing, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling now, so no, I did not want to do that. Let's see. Looks like it's got a multiply on it already. Do you got any more red in here? There's red here. Okay, let's do this. No. Let's take from red. On the multiply layer. That's why. Okay. Huh. There we go. so for this hair, we are just gonna do a paint over. I don't feel like using my typical techniques of like doing a multiply layer and stuff. I kind of just want to go and do it. So we're gonna turn down the saturation of that and maybe make it lighter, maybe not, make it darker, turn down the saturation more. Okay, so we got some eyebrows in there. No. Alright, I'm gonna turn up the music for a bit and we're just gonna chill out and draw. So we want to do something similar with this face. There are going to be some important differences, but yeah, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, we're gonna add that overlay in for sure. Seems having.
So it's supposed to start in 8 minutes.
Oh dang. Oh boy. That's you. Okay. Yeah, I heard that. It's about to begin.
What you doing?
Hmm?
What you doing?
Well, I am. You see if you zoom in, see how like grainy that is? Like this right here. Like that's what it looked like for this, and so I'm just trying to, like I drew it originally small and then I blew it up when I printed it out. So like the new lines are still messy, but if you zoom in, like you can see like they're a little bit like cleaner versus like, see how like it's like super blurry.
Yeah.
So
I thought,
that's about
I
it.
thought you did that intentional.
I didn't. I had just drawn it really small, and it was intentional to draw it small. But now that I'm trying to like actually print it off at a larger size, it's I think it needs just a little bit of cleaning up. So this is what it looked like before. Where is it? So wait, this is my old line. Oh, because I need to turn it on first. So this is what it looked like before. And this is it, the line already cleaned up.
It's like going to the vision doctor.
Yeah.
It's like number 1 and number 2. Number 2.
Number 1, 2.
Oh, is it number 1 again?
Okay. 1 or 2. Yeah.
So weird.
So it's kind of a mix between, because I started cleaning it up before and I was working on this. And there's some elements to it that I like, and there's, oh yeah, you can take one of this. But I kind of liked how the hair actually looked more like spiky in this one, so going back to this and cleaning it up. kind of good. Getting a little bit of light underneath here. Yeah. Alright, yeah, and I need to show a little bit of that rim light. Make it pop. So a quick pointer for people painting out there. When you're painting 3D forms, if you want the form to read extra well, then on the edge that has a shadow, you want to add what's called a rim light, and that basically shows that the light is wrapping around the object. And I add that a lot into my pieces, so you can try it out if you're looking to add a little bit more volume when you're painting. If your painting looks a little bit flat, then add in a little bit of rim light. And you also get kind of like this, I forget what it's called, I think it's like a bounce light. So if the light is coming from up above and it hits the ground and the ground reflects the light back up, then you will see kind of like this light on the underside of thing, and that'll also add more volume and also add a little bit more interest to your piece. So something that you can work in where you can. So I'm just kind of adding a little bit of that in here and there. Let's see. Do have ink brush dynamic. That's 12.5. Alright. You need a textured brush, but quite a bit bigger. That looks too smooth. I don't want it smooth. This is dry ink. Let's try dry ink. Okay, there you go. Not smooth at all. Okay. Can I try these lines blue? What will that do? I'm intentionally trying to be a little bit more loose with the line work here because this isn't the central focus of the picture. And so I don't want it to be as sharp or as in focus as the other parts of the image so that it doesn't draw your attention away from the other parts of the picture. And I'm also using this dry brush to kind of, you know, simulate traditional medium a little bit right now and give it a little bit more texture and also have the chance to have kind of like those happy accents that you may have when you're working traditionally. So sometimes using a little bit of randomization while working digitally can help you imitate working traditional, which can make the process a little bit more comfortable if you're used to traditional work. Okay, so I'm just going back over all these lines. Oh, I see lightning. Alright, so I'm gonna close up around 10, probably a little bit before that. If there's any questions about the art or the art process, let me know. Yeah, I'm just playing a little bit of some random stuff I've worked on music-wise. None of it even close to being polished. This one is a remix from a Mega Man and bass game from the SNES or the GBA, depending which version you played. The soundtrack for that game was really good. One of the best soundtracks on the GBA. Alright. So, let's see. This is the before and after. Alright, it's not too much of a difference, a bit cleaned up. We're gonna keep the texture that's there. And I think we're gonna pretty much call it. I think I might try adding in an extra layer for white highlights and then call it for this piece. Give it a white highlight on the eye, looks like that's too strong. Let's see if we can make this work. Thank you, thank you. Thanks. Now, white highlights are extremely strong, so you got to be really careful where you use them, how you use them. I typically do this at the last stage. I'm just trying to make the piece pop just a little bit more, and all I do is experiment placing them in different locations, and then if I think I find something that looks good, I'll keep it. If I don't think it looks good, I'll get rid of it. All right, we're gonna add in the logo here. Excuse my voice, and we are gonna go ahead and call it for this drawing session. Hope you guys enjoy the chill music and seeing some of this art come to life. As per usual, I wanted to get more stuff done, but perhaps we'll do some stuff off stream, but I think we're gonna go ahead and call it for now. So thanks to everyone that joined in for today's session. Hopefully it was chill, and hopefully it was productive, just as productive for you as it was for me. And I'll just go ahead and show the 2 final pieces so far. So here's the first one, and here is the second one, and how the second one came out. So I'm sure it's a little bit blurry on stream, so I will either post it to Instagram or post it to the servers for the people that want to take a closer look. These will be available as prints at Matsuricon, so if you live in the area, feel free to stop by my table and just chat it up and chop it up. But that's going to be all for this video. I'm going to keep working through products and pictures. I may end up doing more streams like this, so just stay tuned. If you're not already subscribed, then subscribe, and most importantly, hit the notification bell specifically for streams, because if I do any random streams, that will probably be the best way to be alerted for it. Yeah, with that, thanks everyone for coming along. I hope everyone has a great rest of their night, and until next time.